Hi, welcome to Mostly Okay, a practical support online course for caregivers of suicidal kids. It's incredibly difficult to be the parent, caregiver, or guardian of a child who wants to die. To know what to say or what to do or what to not say and what to not do. This course is designed to give you practical tools that you can start using right away to help you feel less helpless and more empowered, know how to navigate through these tough moments. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. So, we're going to start with some really important information. You need to know that I am not a licensed mental health professional. I'm a mother who has spent the past decade navigating challenges and supporting my own children and friends of theirs through mental health scares, self harm, suicidal thoughts and impulses and attempts. The information and the suggestions shared in this course are based on my personal experiences and may be a helpful tool for you as caregivers who are experiencing similar struggles. However, these insights are not intended to serve as medical or professional advice, nor should they be seen as a substitute for therapy or professional mental health care. Well, I hope that this content offers support. It cannot guarantee that a suicidal child will be safe. If your child is experiencing a crisis or immediate danger, please seek professional help by immediately contacting a mental health professional, a crisis hotline, or emergency services. It might be a good idea to save the hotline number that I've placed here into your phone, or if you're old school like me, you can write it on a post-it and stick it on the fridge. It's good to have just in case. So in this video, which is the introduction video, we're just going to get started so you know what to expect. So I'm going to fill you in on a little bit more about who I am and who I'm not, why I made this course, and what you can expect as you work your way through. So, who am I? The most applicable thing here, as I already said, is that I'm a mom. I became a mom 25 plus years ago, and I'm still parenting. I have 4 amazing biological kids. And I've been blessed by a whole lot more who have stayed for months or years when their homes weren't safe for them and they needed somewhere to be. I'm also a wife. My sweetheart walked into the craziness of my life and has become an incredible support. While I was doing all of this before I had him in my life, kudos to all of you who are single parenting out there. It is so much easier with him. So, fun fact, I also work with kids. Right now, I'm a caseworker for high risk youth, but also I have worked at a counseling center with children who witnessed abuse in their homes. I have worked as an EA or educational assistant in elementary schools and high schools. I have created and facilitated drama and photography clubs for high risk children and worked at a sexual assault center, writing and presenting safety presentations to youth to educate them about sexual violence. It's been amazing to have so many great jobs, and I've learned so many things through a variety of trainings and experience that I've been able to pull together into this course to share with you. It's been amazing to work with so many brave kids. Okay, so we've already kind of covered who I'm not. We already know I'm not licensed. And now we already know some of the jobs that I have had. So I do have some formal training. I have a social worker certificate, and I'm still currently in school, working my way up to the diploma and onward. I didn't start my schooling until I found myself a single mom of 4 kids with no vehicle, living in a townhouse on social assistance because my life was completely upended. And so during that time, I was blessed enough to be entered into a program that funded my schooling for me. And so that started me on the way to be able to do some of this stuff professionally and not just as volunteer work, as I'd been doing for many, many years before. So, why am I doing this? Why am I making this course? 5 years ago, my daughter woke me up in the middle of the night. She was standing at the top of the stairs. I was sleeping in the basement. And she was crying. She was saying, Mom, I'm sick. I'm puking and I can't stop puking. So I pulled myself up out of bed. You know how it is. You're not actually awake yet. Put my feet under me, stood up. And then I thought I was being funny and thought she probably had the flu. And so I kind of half jokingly said, like, I'm coming. Do not breathe on me. So as we made our way up the stairs, though, she said, I think it might be the pills. Just like that, everything was different. She'd taken a whole lot of Advil. So we rushed her to the hospital, of course, and from there everything kind of spiraled. She was admitted to the adolescent psychiatric wing of a hospital that was 2 hours away. In order to bring her there, they put her in an ambulance, and because it was a suicide situation attempt, she needed to be restrained, which was really terrible and terrifying for her. That was the start of a very long road. And then we didn't get very much help when she was sent home within a week. Basically, they waited until she wasn't a danger to herself, or they felt that she wasn't an immediate danger to herself, and then they released her. In the meantime, she'd met with a couple of psychiatrists, and there was no ongoing care. There was no follow-up. There was no calls to see how things were going. There was no therapy appointment set up. Just a big gap in the system that I had to try to fill in by myself. Then 2 years ago, I came home from lunch, as usual, from my job, flipped off my shoes, and then I noticed that my youngest daughter's shoes were also at the door. She was supposed to be at school. And that morning she had called and asked me if she could come home. She said she wasn't having a very good mental health day. And I said, look, you'd need to stick it out. Maybe go see the school counselor. She had some really great people there that she was able to speak to. So I said, you can make it through. Go talk to these people. And then she didn't tell me what happened after that. And I went back to work. When I went upstairs to her room, she had taped a note to the door. And the note was a goodbye note. It had her goodbyes. It had the names and phone numbers of friends of hers that she had met online that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to contact to let them know. And I remember just standing in the hallway, not wanting to go into the room. She was alive and is alive, but obviously she was not okay. So what did we do? We went to the hospital. This time, my husband came along too, and the three of us spent over 8 hours in the waiting room for her to be seen. It was a long time. By the time she actually got in there, of course, she had calmed a little bit. We'd been spending all of that time trying to keep her okay and not panicking, because you're in rooms full of a variety of people, right? Including children and old people. And so at that point, even she wanted help. Like, we had told her we're going to go to the doctor. She said, yes, I want help. I need help. I'm not fine. Finally, she got assessed, and they said, there's really nothing we can do. We don't have anything here to offer her. The best case scenario that they could offer was that they would put her on a 72-hour hold. But if at any time before the 72 hours they felt that she was no longer a danger to herself, then they would release her. And again, with no follow-up, no appointments made, you just get let go with your child who wants to die. When we went home, they gave us some paperwork. But the paperwork was organizations who mostly we had already seen. Some of them had huge waiting lists. Wasn't anything that frankly was very helpful. So it was at that point when I realized something had to happen here if I wanted my kid to be alive. So I literally quit my job that night. I didn't even give the 2 weeks notice. I just had to be there round the clock care to make sure that my child stayed alive. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I know what it is like to be scared to open your child's door, because you don't know if they're going to be alive. I know what it's like when even the professionals can't help your child, or when they give you a list of resources that have year-long wait lists. I know what it's like to find a resource and then have your child refuse to go or refuse to participate even if they go to the appointment. And while all of that is happening, I know what it is like to feel very, very alone and to feel completely unprepared and unqualified. So I'm doing this so that maybe other parents like you can feel maybe a little bit better in the midst of all the uncertainty, a little bit more prepared, a little bit more peace in your life while you're dealing with these things. So if you're here, chances are that you have a child that is fighting to stay alive. You are not alone. As a mom who has been there, and honestly, I'm still there, I know what it feels like to not have any control. This course is not going to offer you quick fixes. It's not going to offer miracle cures. It's just going to offer some very real and raw experience from someone who has lived it. My kids have been through emotional abuse, divorce, eating disorders, self-harm, suicidal thoughts and attempts, sexual assaults, OCD, ADHD, BPD, severe head trauma, depression, anxiety, and they're a part of the LGBTQIA2S+ community. There's been times when all of it felt like too much. It all felt impossible. When I didn't know how I was going to do this, I didn't think I could keep going. And I know that my kids' battles have been even harder than that. But we're still here. We're surviving, and I'm here to tell you that you will survive. And despite all of these things, you can be mostly okay. That's why I'm doing this. Parenting in today's world is tough, especially when you realize you can't control your kids. You can't protect them from everything. You can't make their decisions for them, and you certainly can't heal them. But here's the thing. You can control how you respond as life happens. And your responses can influence your kids way more than you might think. So if this introduction video has a takeaway, this might be it. So here we go. We as parents want to control everything that involves our kids, but it's just not possible. Remember when your kids were babies, you couldn't make them eat, you couldn't make them sleep, you couldn't make them go to the bathroom in the toilet. And you know what? It's the same now. You can't make your child want to live. You can't make them listen to you. You can't make them participate in therapy. The list of things that you can't do is long. You can't control your kids. You can't protect them from everything. You can't make their decisions for them, and you can't heal them. But fear not, brave parents. There are some things that you can do. And I really need you to hear this, because until you stop trying to control everything, you're going to have a really hard time being okay. You need to breathe and open up your clenched fists. So what can you do? You can control your responses. You can exercise the influence that you have over your kids, and you have influence. You can help your kids to shift their perspective, to see things a different way. And you can offer yourself and your home as safe spaces for your child to be able to process the things they're going through. And those things can make an incredible difference in your kids' lives. We're going to see some examples as we work through the course, and you'll be able to see that while you can't make things happen, you have powerful influence in your child's life, and you can use that. So what can you expect from this online course? You can expect supportive, non-judgmental, and empowering content. Now, I want to offer a trigger warning here. Hopefully you haven't already been triggered by the things that we've been talking about. Perhaps this should have been like slide number 2. But I'm going to say it now. I want to acknowledge that some of the things that I'll be talking about are going to be difficult. If you're here, you probably have already been through some similar awful experiences. Please take care of yourself. If you need to skip a section, go ahead and skip it. Maybe you already know that you're going to need a friend or a partner to watch these videos with you. Good. Invite them over, do the course together. If you need to watch each video in segments, that's fine too. There's no hard and fast rules. The course was made to help you. So, what else to expect? You're going to get 5 lessons of video content, just like this one, with worksheets that correspond. Now, it's up to you if you want to do the worksheet work or not. As pretty much everything else, what you put into something is what you're going to get out of something. So the more effort and time you're able to put in, the more your thought patterns and stuff are going to change, and you're going to see a difference in your life going forward. You're also going to have practical, actionable ideas for you as a caregiver. So even there's going to be some times when you're going to have a bit of a script that you can follow and try it out and see how it works for you. I mean, at this point, if you're struggling, what does it hurt to try something different? So we're going to break up some mindsets for sure, but this is not all just brain work. We're going to have very specific things that you can do. It's changing mindsets, and it's the practical ability to speak and behave differently to affect your child's life in a better way. Okay, so this is my favorite part of today, letting you know what we're going to talk about going forward. So here are the titles of the lessons with a teeny tiny bit about what they are. The titles are kind of going to tell you that without me explaining it, but just in case you want to hear me talk for a couple more minutes, here we go. So number 1 will be don't take it personally, and also misconceptions and myths. So I'm going to help you understand how to separate your emotions and your reactions from your teen struggles. And we're also going to clear up some myths and misconceptions about self-harm and suicide. You might be very surprised at some of these things. Number 2, what to watch for, as well as safety planning. So I'm going to show you the signs to look out for when you're worried about your child. And I'm going to guide you in creating a safety plan with them to protect your teen when things get tough. So we're also going to talk about making your home a safe place, physically and emotionally both. Number 3, effective communication. Now this is a fun one, but so challenging. I'm going to teach you how to communicate with your teen in ways that build trust, open up conversations, and help them to feel supported. You can do this. Number 4, navigating professional help. In this lesson, I'm going to help you figure out when it's time and how to start finding the right mental health professionals for your teen and potentially for yourself. Number 5 is coping strategies and fostering hope and resilience. So I'm going to address both positive and negative coping skills. We all have them. Our kids have them. We have them. Our spouses have them. Our other kids have them. And how we can offer more positive options to our kids. We're also going to continue some communication strategies designed to keep hope for the future an option in their lives. And a special this time around is a bonus, a self-care for parents or caregivers. That would be you, or guardians, still you. We're going to explore simple self-care practices to help you take care of yourself so that you can stay strong and you can be the best support for your teen while still being mostly okay. So you're invited to join a private Discord conversation. If you don't have an account, super easy to start. Your link will be included here. And you can just go on. This is a great confidential place where you'll be able to talk with other members who are taking the course, and where I also will be. I can answer questions. We can kind of chat together if you have concerns, maybe if you disagree with something. This is a place where you can share your story, or you can, ask your questions. It's supposed to be a place of safety and encouragement and support. And we want to keep it that way. So I'm just asking that you would keep it positive. As with anything parenting related, there will be things that you might disagree with. That is totally okay. As a mom of 4 kids, I saw how differently they each needed to be treated in order for them to really receive love, support, direction. You know your child best. So take what you can from this information, file the rest for possible use later. I'm not offended. Use what you can. I'm also really open to thoughts or challenges in the Discord chat, so please keep it kind. But by all means, I'd love to hear other opinions and other life experiences. We can always learn. And also a note that throughout the course, you may have noticed I'll be alternating the use of the words caregiver, parent, or guardian. Basically, it all just means you. So this week, your assignment is to introduce yourself on Discord. Tell us what day and time you've chosen to watch your video lessons. And then I want you to answer the questions on the worksheet. You don't need to print it out. You can put your answers down anywhere you want. You can even just think about your answers, but do give it some thought. It's really the reflection process that's going to make a difference for you. Woohoo! You did it. You made it through the introduction. I hope you feel a tiny spark of hope and a whole lot of love and acceptance. Just come as you are. Remember, it's okay not to be okay, but it's also okay to try and be mostly okay. You've got this. Big hugs if you like to be hugged. And I'll see you on Discord. Thank you so much.